Good morning. Welcome to Satan and Coffee. Everyone's doing well. Oh, I need to fix my shit because, like, I've lost moving hard drives around. So I got like a little hard drive for the Mac over here. You guys can't see it because of the chat, the chat thing. You can't see my Mac, but my Mac is over here, and I bought Graham, Mr. Graham. Hail. I bought 2 terabyte SSD for that, and then I had to reformat the one that I had all my shit on. Like I had to reformat it to exFAT instead of NSFT, because NSFT doesn't work on Mac, but exFAT works on both Mac and. Good morning, mother. Hell. But yeah. So yeah. Anyway, if you notice that there's no transition and there's no little ember things happening down here, like that's because like I have it up in Dropbox, but for some reason, like when I move shit back and forth on my hard drives, now everything's fucking gone on my fucking hard drive, so I've got to fucking fix that. It's kind of fucked. It is what it is. Doing a lot of work on this thing. I'm sorry. I know this isn't my tech channel, but I just want to say, like, I really, 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 really love the MacBook Pro. It's such a good little machine. It really is. Doing lots of crazy shit on there, building the websites up on there. I'm actually so for those that don't know, infernalcompass.com is up, and atiusdade.com will be coming back very shortly. The 15th of August or July, I think, something like that. The text part, the tech part of YouTube. It's I mean, I started with Mixer, and then yeah, I got a tech channel. It's Atius Dade Studios, or Atius Dade Studio, another channel. I talk about hardware and how to set shit up and stuff like that. So one of the things I'm going to be talking about is like with laptops. I like laptops so I can work around the house and shit, but like I hate all the stuff that I have to have connected to it, and then it's just all over the table. And so what I did is I bought this little pouch thing on the back of it. Like if you look, like I mean this one's kind of dangling. That doesn't fit in there, but like I bought this little pouch thing on the back of it, and then it holds like the USB hub, which has eyeballs, and then like the hard drive fits in here and stuff like that. And then this, and I sticker bomb shit, but it's not on the MacBook itself. It's on the shell that I bought for it, which has little stands. So yeah, sits over here. Got like a little table. Like when I have to reference stuff, like I use it over there. But I love tech. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. Audio is my obsession. If you can't tell, you know, the mic and how the podcast sounds and stuff like that. My audio sounded like super professional before my video looked even remotely professional. So yeah. So to start the morning out as we do, get the reads going, yeah. And also another thing, like I might be a tech head, but I love writing shit down. So I have field books like all over the house, like field books. Like I use these religiously. Little yellow pads, and then like I have multiples of these like daily planners. So like I'll write stuff out before I put it into a computer because I don't know. I like writing things down. Like I like it's why I went with these fountain pens. These things are amazing. I love these fucking things. You know, I bought like a shit ton of these fountain pens. I love them. They're so smooth. Um, I want to get a Raspberry Pi and add an AMD Ryzen graphics card on it. You need a Radeon graphics card? I mean, that's what I'm rocking. I mean, I've got a Ryzen 9 7900X, that's 12 cores, 24 threads, and a 7900 XT, which is 20 gigs of VRAM, and I've got 96 gigs of RAM in my computer. Like, that's the main machine that I'm streaming on right now. And the MacBook, I went mid-tier with the MacBook, so I got an M5 Pro with 24 gigs of RAM, and a 1 terabyte hard drive, and the 2 terabyte external drive for it. So, so I use like this, honestly, like if you want professional audio, like if it's just you, because this is a dynamic microphone. This is the Rode Pod mic. So if you want a decent microphone that you can very easily get like up to like SM7B quality, I would definitely suggest the Rode Pod mic. This particular one was $99, whereas like the SM7B, like if you're rocking an SM7B, you're talking $450, I think, for that, depending on where the price is at. So, the only thing that is complicated with mics like this, so it is an XLR microphone, so it does not use USB. I mean, they have a USB version. I wouldn't suggest it, but I mean, you can still use the XLR connection. I would always go with XLR. And also, I only Pig Hog. I only use Pig Hog XLR cables because I've used the thinner, cheaper XLR cables in the past, and they've shorted out and fucked up the audio. Just because of like constantly moving the mic around. Like I have so many of these cables, and I have had them for years. Pig Hog is fucking amazing. Not sponsored. I wish it was, but I only buy Pig Hog cables, XLR cables, because they're just fucking great. And yeah, so this is a dynamic microphone. So dynamic, what this does is it rejects audio that is not in front of it, right? So anything happening around it, like it does a very good job at rejecting it. Alexis, what? Welcome. So yeah, definitely would suggest getting a dynamic microphone if you're planning on doing any type of podcast type of stuff. If you're going to have guests, so the audio interface with XLR, you can use anything. I'm using a Wave XLR because I like the software. That's a whole other thing. And so I would suggest getting like lavalier mics. And what I use for lavalier mics is I have the DJI lavalier mics because they were without the charging case, they were actually pretty affordable. Sorry for the voice crack. God damn. Yeah, they were affordable. I think how much I paid for them. Less than $100. And they're 2 wireless lavalier mics with a USB-C pop thing in there. Like, I mean, you could probably get away with just using that. Like, you probably don't even need a mic like this. Just get like a lavalier and like stick it to yourself, you know? Because like the way probably should make a video about this on the tech channel instead of doing it over here on the occult channel, but you know, we're fam, right? So I'll hook you up. You know, so these little things right here, right? These little DJI mics, DJI, motherfucker, focus on the microphone. Thank you. Right. And it comes with like both of them come with like a little dead cat. So it's good at noise rejection. It has a clip on the back of it, but it also comes with like a little magnet. So like if you really wanted to, like you could just kind of grab the magnet and like stick it to your shirt like that or something. You know, which is good. And then it comes with the receiver, which is this right here. So the cool thing with this, so here's the thing with this. This is badass. So the cool fucking thing with this. So the kit comes with 2 mics, right? You get 2 of these inside of there, right? Inside of the kit. You get 2 of these. You get the receiver. And if you've got an iPhone, which in my opinion, iPhone already has like really good fucking video quality, this motherfucker pops right into your iPhone. Then you go into your settings, like in your camera or whatever, and you choose this as your microphone, and boom, you're set. If you got a USB-C connection, it should work. If it uses USB-C, I use iPhone, but like, you know, that's just because I'm a fucking Mac shill and I've got a 17 Pro Max. But if your Samsung has a USB-C connection, decent cameras, then this just upgrades the audio. And the audio on these things is, the audio on these things are fucking amazing. So it's kind of the reason I got them, because there's going to be moments that Dyra and I are going to be making content using the phone. And I kind of went ham with it, because the thing is like, this is in the this is what I call like my phone camera pouch. And so what I did, the reason, like if you notice like the case that I have on it, right? What the case does is I have this thing right here, which clamps onto my phone right here. And then I can throw on like a variable ND filter. Is this the ND or is this the mist? Pretty sure that's the, yeah, that's the ND filter. So I get these things right here, these little discs. And what that does, that goes onto the phone. And what this does is this helps you control how much light is actually getting into the phone cameras, right? Right here, and then you connect the DJI, the DJI guys. You connect the DJI receiver to this, throw up the lapels, and then you've got literally a full travel setup. So we're planning on probably soon. Well, we're going on a trip. Out of where we're at into another city here in Mexico, where we're going to be getting married, and we're going to be recording that, and we're going to be recording it and streaming some of it. Probably going to be a subscriber like only thing, like, or like not subscriber, but like member only thing. And then that also comes with this thing at the back, right? So like, because I can go like this, I can snap this on here, and then it has this thing I connect it to a tripod, and then I can control, like it's literally like a camera. I can do zoom, record, like all of that stuff, like right from the handle off of this. So yeah, so it's honestly bit by bit, like I've built all of this shit up, right? I've gotten all of this stuff. Thank you. Yeah. So we do want to kind of like let you guys in on it a little bit. So that's going to be a thing. But yeah, so this is like the phone camera pouch. That's also why I went with a Mac, because the Mac is powerful enough to handle kind of like the editing and stuff like that from it. So, yeah, I'm gonna cut this whole fucking segment out of here, and I'm gonna throw it up on the fucking tech thing, right? So, cause all right, here we go, guys. All right, we're gonna start with our morning read as we do. Okay, here's our starting card, guys. The Sovereign's Oath. It's a very cool looking card, by the way. So, so the Sovereign's Oath is leadership integrity, okay? It's an unwavering commitment to justice, okay? So when this card pops up, especially as the first card, right? We're kind of looking at responsibility and strength required to uphold truth and make difficult decisions for the greater good. So, difficult decisions, hard choices to make, coming your way, but you definitely need to have and hold that leader energy, right? You need to do that. Like you need to kind of take the reins and be like, all right, motherfucker, like like I know this shit is fun, but or not, but you know, chill the fuck out kind of thing. Definitely feeling that. And the funny thing is the card that comes directly after it, right, is enlightenment, right? As we know, right, we're talking about kind of like inner peace, spiritual growth, and higher awareness. So this is kind of directly, you know, it almost feels like a big jump, right? It's almost like kind of like inside of like taking the reins on the shit and kind of like grasping and maintaining control, right? It's like that awareness of taking that leadership is where the inner peace is going to lie. Like allowing yourself to take the leadership role that you need to take that you haven't taken yet, right? Right. So this card it represents, you know, that moment of clarity and profound understanding, right? So I think that clarity and that understanding is understand you are the leader and you need to take the reins at the very least, take the reins of your own life. Right. And then our final card, at least with the Midnight Oracle, is the Abyssal Beast, right? Confrontation, primal fears, right? Unrelenting challenges, and immense power, right? So the now everything kind of comes full circle, right? Because we're talking be the leader, take the leadership role, right? Be enlightened and all that stuff, and understanding that you are the one that needs to take the leadership role. But understand the moment that you try to take those reins, other people are going to be like, I want those reins. So there's some conflict coming with that, right? But you are in a perfect position to fight for what is yours, what is rightfully yours, and you should fight for what is rightfully yours, right? Okay. So now the practicality part of it, the shadow read. Okay. Wah. Interesting combination. Interesting combination. Okay. So the first one that pops up that covers sovereign oath about the leadership. Forgotten needs, neglect, suppression, yearning for care. You forgot about yourself. This is why you need to take the leadership role. Because letting other people take hold, you're forgetting what you need. You're forgetting what your needs and what your necessities and your desires are. Shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't neglect yourself or suppress your own feelings. Right? Right? That's what's crossing this. So this is telling us you need to take the leadership role of your own shit. Like you need to lead yourself back to a place where you're taking care of yourself because you're not right now. And the funny thing is like I'm not sure if any of y'all are having like relationship issues or anything like that. Like you ain't got to say nothing. They ain't gonna say nothing. But I feel like somebody out there's having relationship issues because the next card is love is in control, right? Attachment, fear, misunderstanding, right? We start out forgotten needs. Now it's that love is in control. Now this could be like a relationship. Well, when I say relationship, it could be like family relationship, right? It could be, you know, we could be looking at, you know, things like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, your mother, your brother, your father, like a friend. Like relationships aren't just like romantic, but I feel this definitely feels romantic to me. And love isn't control, right? Just because there's attachment and there's fear of losing, somebody that maybe you had loved at some point, right? Right? Don't misunderstand like what you had with what you don't have now. And if it doesn't seem like that's coming back and you feel more controlled, more boxed in, right? Stop forgetting about what you need. Stop forgetting about what you need, right? Like you need to remember what your own necessities are and respect those, right? And the funny thing, the conflict, right? The conflict card, what's crossing the conflict card? Invisible one. You are right now the invisible one. You keep shrinking, you keep hiding, and you're afraid of being seen, right? You're afraid of being seen. You're afraid of it. You're terrified, right? So you shrink and you hide, and you're for some reason you're afraid of for the wrong reasons. Like you're afraid that that person, that family member, that friend, that you know partner that is supposed to support you, supposed to take care of you, supposed to be like, yeah, great ideas, go for it, do it. That conflict, you make yourself smaller to avoid that conflict. So that is the daily read. So, what do you need to do today? Own your shit, get into a fight or two, and then smoke a cigarette, chill out, and figure out what the next steps are. You know what I mean? Like, in personal care and care for others, I'm just an idealist wishing for everyone to be well. Well, here's the thing, right? Relationships happen, in my experience, relationships, true, worthwhile relationships occur when you're not looking for them, right? It's like when you want something like that, like you could probably find something, but it's usually going to be shit. It's like when you're on top of your game and really taking care of yourself. That's the key, taking care of yourself. When you're taking care of yourself and making sure your needs are yes, your needs are met. That's when the worthwhile relationships happen because that energy, brings shit in that you want in your life. And when you're looking for a relationship, like when you're actively looking, that's usually more a codependency thing. Like you want to be wanted, you need to be needed, at least in that moment. And those relationships usually never last, you know? So, yeah, that's the thing. My best advice I could give anybody about relationships is stop looking for one. Like just stop looking for one. Don't look for it. Um, and take care of your own shit, right? Take care of yourself. Make sure you're in a good spot, and then everything else kind of falls into place. Just is one of those things. So some of you may be wondering why in the hell I put the title at the beginning of the name of the show. Well, I did that because apparently I'm confusing the algorithm, and the algorithm thinks everything that I'm uploading is the same fucking thing, which is why like the full length episodes that I do don't get much traction, but the shorts are doing pretty good. So I'm putting a different title about generally what I'm going to be talking about, um, at the beginning of the title, even though this is like the morning heresy thing, right? Um, all your day eating. Well, James, I have been waiting for a reason to do this for a very long time. Um, and like, I mean, that's just rude, dude. And I don't need that shit in my shit. So bye. Yeah. So, well, the thing is, exactly. Well, and the thing is that it is, look, he hasn't been really combative, which is the reason why, and he's been fairly respectful. Um, you know, and so that's why I've kind of left him alone for as long as I have. That right there is just kind of crossing the line from like just being rude, right? That's just being rude. Um, and so yeah, like that's I'm done. And on top of the fact, I'm going to be completely honest. Dyra has mentioned multiple times that he makes her uncomfortable. Um, So constantly asking about our baby. I've had to tell him directly to stop asking about my kid in chat. And just asking the stupidest, most jackassy fucking questions. Like, I guess there's like we were live one time and he kept asking about like what horror movies that she likes and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. And so like I've left him alone. Mm, because he hasn't been overly combative, but that was just kind of rude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, even if you think like a tarot reader, like just says the same thing over and over again in their reads, which I don't think I do, honestly. Um, you know, that was just the way that was worded was just way, way, way too rude. Like, it's just like, like, oh, it's like a broken record. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here then. Bye. See you later. Peace. Right. You know, so yeah. Um, Rather pee with animals, right? Um, so you know, and she was okay with me keeping him in, as long as he wasn't being like too fucking weird. I mean, she would actively just ignore his messages and stuff like that. And so yeah, I mean that for me was kind of just like the last straw. It's like I've been waiting for a reason, and I knew it was coming. I knew eventually he was going to say some stupid shit, and like, you know. Well, the thing is like the readings are focused on personal developments. I'm focused on personal growth. It's focusing on like the things that you're dealing with per day, right? It's like, what do you want? Like a fucking horoscope? Like, I mean, is that what like, you know what I mean? Like, is that what you're looking for? I mean, just, buy a newspaper if they still sell them, or download a fucking app, but, you know, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, so the idea is just to help people out with like the energy kind of like going around in the day and the week and whatever. You know You always go call Miss Cleo, right? Exactly. So the title for today, right, the hell you build or the hell you built, is actually from something I wrote. And I kind of want to talk about it, or I want to read it and then kind of talk about it, right? um So we're gonna do this thing. Um, and it originally was like a spoken word thing, right? Um, and now it's kind of become like a very long fucking manifesto type of thing. So it's called like the worst part of hell. Um, so I'm just gonna read it, and as I read it, we can talk about it, right? I used to think I was cursed. Not in the way people mean when they whisper about candles and symbols or dead things, dark rooms, or names spoken backward. Not cursed by some shadow standing at the foot of my bed. Not cursed by a bloodline, a spirit, a god, or even a devil. I thought I was cursed in a quieter way. I thought my life had been written wrong before I ever had the chance to read it. I thought something had been carved into me before I could defend myself from the knife. I thought the world had teeth, and every time I tried to stand, it opened its mouth and bit me back into the dirt. For a long time, that belief felt like truth. It explained everything. It explained the anger, explained the failures, the debts, the lies, the abandoned plans, the unfinished versions of myself I left scattered behind me like bodies on a battlefield. It explained why I quit. It explained why I hated myself. It explained why I looked at discipline like it was a language other men were born speaking. So I blamed everything. I blamed politicians, cops, the economy, the town I was in, the schools I went to. I blamed my mother. I blamed my father. I blamed a God that I didn't even believe in. And I blamed the devil when I knew damn well I had already been doing his work for free. I blamed anything but me. That is the first architectural aspect of hell. The story that makes your ruin feel innocent. I told myself I never had a chance, and that is a beautiful lie. If you are desperate enough to need it, it is soft enough to sleep on and sharp enough to bleed from. It gives you a pillow and a knife. It tells you rest while it cuts you open. I said my life was broken because the world broke it. And maybe that was partly true. Maybe I was hurt before I knew what hurt was. Maybe I was abandoned before I had the language to name abandonment. Maybe someone put fear in me before I knew it, did not belong there, before I knew it did not belong there. And it's fine. Let that be true. But truth does not end where pain begins. The world did not make every choice for me. It didn't put bottles in my hands. The world did not write every excuse in my mouth. The world did not make me lie. The world did not make me quit. The world did not make me betray my own future. The world did not make me hate myself and call it wisdom. That was me. That was my hand on the shovel, digging, digging, and digging, and calling it survival. The worst part of hell is knowing you helped build it. Not all at once, not in some grand act of destruction. Hell is usually built in small decisions, one excuse at a time, one avoided truth at a time. One morning wasted, one promise broken, one appetite obeyed, one resentment polished until it shines like a crown. Brick by brick, excuse by excuse, victim story by victim story. You wake up one day surrounded by walls you swear someone else put there, only to find your fingerprints in the mortar. That is the moment the lie begins to die. And it does not die cleanly. It does not die with light pouring through the ceiling. It does not die because someone loves you hard enough. It does not die because a preacher, a therapist, a lover, a parent, a politician, a stranger finally says the right sentence in the right fucking tone and saves you from yourself. No one is coming. At first, that sounds like a sentence of death. Then, if you're honest enough, it becomes the first breath of freedom. No one is coming to pull you out of the life you keep choosing. No one is coming to discipline you into becoming the person you pretend you want to be. No one is coming to love you so perfectly that you'll never again have to love yourself. No one is coming to hand you meaning, closure, strength, or permission. The world does not owe you softness. Your parents do not owe you completion. Governments do not owe you meaning, and the past does not owe you permission. The dead don't owe you closure. And if that sounds cruel, then good, I suppose. Some truths have to arrive without comfort, because comfort is what kept the lie alive. There's a kind of pain that does not destroy you, it reveals you. Pain is realizing you were not only trapped, You were comfortable in the cage because the cage gave you someone else to blame. Pain is seeing that resentment can become a home if you decorate it well enough. Pain is admitting that you built a throne from every reason you never had to change, that you sat there like a king of nothing, ash, debt, money, and rot, a king with no kingdom but the ruin inside your chest. So this is where it kind of begins, not with healing, not with forgiveness, not with a clean little sentence made for people who have never had dirt in their teeth. It begins with disgust, infernal disgust, the kind that makes you look at the life you have tolerated and finally say no more, the kind that makes you rip the rot out with your bare hands, the kind that makes you stop worshiping the wounds, the kind that makes you stand in front of your own reflection without a mask, without a sermon, without an enemy, and say the words that burn. I did this. I chose this. I stayed too long. I lied. I was weak. I was afraid. I wanted pity more than power. I wanted someone to save me so I never had to become someone worth saving. That is not self-hatred. That is the end of self-deceit. There's a difference between shame that poisons you and shame that wakes you up. One says you are worthless, so stay down. The other says you're not living like someone who knows what his life is worth. One buries you. The other hands you a shovel and tells you to dig in the other direction. I was not worthless. I was undisciplined. I was not doomed. I was dishonest. I was not unloved. I was empty because I kept abandoning myself. Once you see that, once you see that, you cannot unsee it. The old excuses start to stink. The old stories start to crack. The old identity starts begging for mercy because it knows its reign is ending. Bury it. Bury the liar you protected. Bury the coward you defended. Bury the victim you kept alive because he made failure feel innocent. Bury the version of you that called collapse peace, weakness, wisdom, avoidance, healing, and self-pity depth. No flowers, no prayers, just dirt, then stand. Not clean, not healed, not forgiven, not finished, but awake. Awake enough to begin. Because the point is not to pretend the damage never happened. The point is to stop letting the damage govern the future. The point is not to deny the wound. The point is to stop kneeling at its altar. The point is not to become untouched by darkness. The point is to learn how to walk through it with your eyes open and your hands clean enough to build something better. This is the work. To take the ditch and make it a grave, to take the rage and make it fuel, to take the shame and make it discipline, to take the past and strip it from its throne, to take every ugly thing you once used to poison yourself and forge it into a weapon against the lie. Hell is not only fire. Hell is repetition without awakening. Hell is the same excuse wearing different clothes. Hell is knowing what you need to do and watching yourself refuse to do it. Hell is the comfort of staying broken because rebuilding would make you responsible. And that is why the worst part of hell is knowing you helped build it. But here's the other truth. If your hands help build the walls, your hands can begin to tear them down. Not instantly, not beautifully, not without blood, but truly. One brick at a time, one honest sentence at a time, one disciplined morning at a time, one refused excuse at a time, one promise kept, one appetite mastered, one lie buried, one step toward the person you kept waiting for someone else to become. When the world asks you who saved you, tell it the truth. Nobody. I stopped waiting. I stopped blaming. I stopped begging. I put my hands around the throat of my own deceit and squeezed until the truth could breathe. I crawled out of the hell I helped build, and I did not crawl out innocent. I crawled out responsible. I crawled out awake, and that is enough to begin the war. So, yeah. So that is what I wrote. I don't know what you guys think or feel about that. So, yeah, that is. I think that's probably like the most personal thing that I've written. Especially in terms of kind of like Infernal Compass type stuff, like kind of like where Infernal Compass kind of comes from, um, and why I made Infernal Compass to begin with. Like I feel like it feels like most things out there that are coaching related are cash grabs, right? It feels like it's like people struggle with their shit, right? And they look to somebody that has made millions of dollars off of the backs of the desperate to tell them what they need to do to improve their lives. And I don't know, like I feel like Infernal Compass is different, like because I don't have $1 million in my bank. Most most of my accounts are in negative. But you know, that's not the point. The point's not the money. I think people use money too much as a marker to show certain levels of success. And the thing is money comes and goes, right? Money is, something that, you it's a tool that you use to build shit, right? Like you pay your rent, you buy your food, maybe you get a computer, maybe you get a camera, maybe you start, putting shit out there. It's a tool, right? And then you use money to make more money. At least you should. But I think the mindset is the more important part. The wake up, right? Like that's the important part, and that's what Infernal Compass is. Or Infernal Compass isn't you're going to get rich. Infernal Compass isn't going to be is never going to be this is how you make money. It's never going to be, anything like that. It's not a fucking pyramid scheme. Infernal Compass is wake the fuck up and start making better choices. I don't know what's going to happen to you after you follow the process, but it's a process I had to go through to get to where I am, and I like where I am, even with my bank accounts in negative, because I have all of this. I can do this. I can create content. I can make something and put it out into the world, right? And so for me, like, it's never been about the money, about making money. It's been about waking other people up the way that I needed to wake up. Uh-huh. We have a choice. Exactly. 100%, Alexis. 100%. We have choices, decisions, and those choices and decisions and those actions have consequences, and consequences aren't always inherently negative. That's one thing I always kind of keep throwing out there, right? It's like it's a learning experience, right? You do something, it doesn't work, it doesn't happen the way that you want it to happen, or doesn't end the way that you want it to end, or whatever. Like you learn from it, right? And that's the whole point. It's like, I keep telling people, like, I had to be, like I got to where I am the third time I was homeless in a third different country. I was homeless in the States, I was homeless in Turkey, and I was homeless here in Mexico. And it wasn't until the third time I'm just kind of like, dude,
There's only one common denominator here, and it's you. You know, it was me. And that's what Infernal Compass is. Infernal Compass is the wake up call. Infernal Compass is the get your fucking ass in gear and start making better choices for yourself. Yeah, 100% if you focus on being rich, you know. Um, I don't think I've ever focused on being rich. I mean, it'd be nice to be financially, you know, have some financial freedom, I suppose, but you know, Infernal Compass is, you know, not that. You know, Infernal Compass is like the step before you start making those choices. Like my focus has always been helping people. You know, I like and enjoy helping people, and yeah, if I can make a little extra cash here and there doing that, then okay, cool. But you know, that's not the focus. The focus is helping people. You know, um, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but you know, I have people in the program, you know, that you know I spoke with that did a discovery call with me, and you know, they didn't have a job, they didn't have really anything, and so I, you know, took them on for free, pro bono. You know, I don't do that with everybody, but you know, there's a few people that I've done it with, and they're doing better. They are doing better, right? I mean, one of them, you know, wants to be in music, and you know, is finally kind of like started on social media, and you know, bought the stuff that he's got. He got a job. He didn't have a job when he started the program, and he got a job, and he's holding on to it, and he's doing well with it, and you know, he's you know now starting social media and putting his music out there and stuff like that, and um, it's about helping people, you know, and so when I sit down and I talk to somebody, and I feel like I really can help them, regardless of whether they have money or not, you know, I'm going to help them. Oh, I mean, I told this particular guy, and it's like, yeah, I see a lot of myself in you, you know, and you know, I'm very proud of him. I'm very, very proud of him, and sometimes I think that's something that people need to hear, you know, from someone else is, I'm proud of you. I have pride in your existence. I have pride in myself because you exist and because you're doing something for yourself, you know? And exactly. Exactly. You know, I don't like talking about it cuz then like people start coming out of the fucking woodwork and trying to get shit for free, and like it's just people you just know don't deserve it. Um but it's those moments, there's those moments where you sit down and you have a conversation with somebody, you tell them how much it costs, you see the defeat in their face, and then, you know, um uh yeah, um you know, uh yeah, you just want to help them. You just want to see if there's something that you can do just to make their life better. And that's what Infernal Compass is, right? That's why Dyra and I are building Infernal Compass. You know, not just the coaching stuff, but like this, the entire system. Like everything falls under Infernal Compass. Atius Dade falls under Infernal Compass. Dyra Dade falls under Infernal Compass. You know, Kaliha Marcanum, the school that we're building falls under Infernal Compass. And then obviously the Infernal Compass, you know, coaching and stuff like that, the book, which is out there. Um, so that's what that comes from, you know, and I think, you know, that phrase I wrote, you know, resonated with me a lot when I wrote it down. Like it just felt so clear that the worst part of hell is knowing that you helped build it. Yet the worst part of your suffering is knowing that you're the one that caused it. So, um, anyway, that is going to be it for today. You guys are fucking amazing. Thank you for being here. And as always, hail thy fucking self. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Peace the fuck out.